What is going on, guys? Everyone back again with another review. In today's video, the last game of the season is officially over. You can take a look at the bracket right here. We still have the whole Mets, Atlanta, Arizona thing. We're going to cover each scenario, so don't worry about that. So let's just get right into this video. Let's start off with the AL. We're going to start with this Houston Tigers series right now. These teams will obviously have a fun series, I think. 3 games going to be played in Houston, and these are going to be the early slot. So it's 2:32 Eastern time right now. And honestly, these teams have been playing extremely well. The Astros have been really good, really solid team, at least the second half of the season, right? But the Tigers, man, I mean, there's just so many storylines with the Tigers how they just kicked it up that second half of the season and went on that crazy run. So that was really impressive to see for them, which was very exciting. If we take a look at the season series between the Tigers and the Astros real quick, obviously the Astros did win the season series against them. The first series was a 3-game set. They were able to take this 2 games to 3. And then the second time they played was in June. They also took it 2 games to 3. So if we go off this, I would imagine the Astros are going to win this series. I have a feeling it might go to 3 games just because we know Scuball is going to be so dominant, right? He pretty much won the AL Triple Crown for pitching, which hasn't been done in forever. So I just have so much confidence in him as a pitcher that I feel like he's going to get at least 1 game for this team. But I still think the Astros are still the better squad. I have the Astros 2-1 in this series. I do think it could go all 3 games. We know the Astros. We know their postseason success. I just don't really see that. I don't really see the Tigers winning. In my opinion, I would love for the Tigers to win. I put this team in the postseason. I had them in this position to be able to have a chance at the World Series. I would love for the Tigers to win, but I just really don't think it's going to happen, man. As it stands right now, the Tigers don't have a starter in for game 1 or any of the games at all. The Astros have Valdez in, who's obviously a very good pitcher in the postseason. He's been really dominant. It's going to be a good one. I have the Astros taking this one, though. Moving on over to the other side of the bracket in the AL, we have the Orioles taking on the Royals. This is obviously going to be taking place in Baltimore for the 3 games. This is the second slot of the postseason taking place at 4 o'clock pretty much. The second game is at 4:30 right now. Another fun series to watch. I know both these teams, obviously it's been a minute since the Royals have been in. It's also been a minute since the Orioles have won a playoff game, right? They're obviously last year got swept, didn't win a playoff game. So we'll see if they can bounce back here. I think they have a way better roster than they did in 23, to be honest. So I think we're going to see more postseason success from the Orioles. If we take a look at their season series, they played both series in April. The first one the Orioles took, first games of the year pretty much. They were able to take that 2 games to 3. And then in the second game of the year, they also took that 2 games to 3. So most likely in a 3-game set, the Orioles will probably win. Really good game 1. We got Cole Ragans versus Burns, which will be exciting. And then in game 2, Seth Lugo is on the mound for the Royals. And then if we get to a game 3, Michael Wacha will be on the mound. So very exciting. I mean, this is a really good pitching matchup. Burns, I mean, you imagine he's got to impress his first time in the postseason with this squad. He's got to impress. But once again, this is another series where I'm not sure what's going to happen. Like, obviously, the Orioles will be favored. I mean, 100%. But I feel like they're going to get it in 3. I have a lot of faith in that Royals pitching staff to kind of at least win 1 game. So I'm going to predict the Orioles take it in 3. I think they're going to win this series, have some postseason success, have some good hitting performances. And I think the Orioles will move on to the next round. So moving on over to the next series is going to be the Brewers and Mets. Obviously, this team in this rivalry has been really good all season long. It obviously started back in March, guys, with the whole Rhys Hoskins situation, them yelling from the dugout. You guys probably remember those games all the way back, long ago. Teams have history here. It's going to be good. The season series against these 2 teams was definitely one favored to the Brewers. The Brewers ended up winning at 5-1. Obviously, swept them in April, and then they obviously played the last game of the season. Brewers ended up winning those 2 key games. The Mets had to play that whole doubleheader wildcard thing, which was pretty crazy. Overall, the time slots for these matchups are pretty interesting. The first game's at 5:32, then we get a 7:38, then we get a 8:30, 8 p.m., all those in Eastern time. Both teams haven't announced either of the starters for these games yet, so we don't really know who's going to be in for the pitching rotation yet. Obviously, the Brewers will be heavily favored in this one because they didn't have to play on Monday, and obviously they won the division, and these games are in Milwaukee. So there's a lot of factors for the Brewers leading up to this that have them favorited. And I'm definitely going to agree with those. I think this is the time that the Brewers are going to get over the line against the team in this wild card. We know before they've struggled in the postseason a lot. Obviously, last year fell to the Diamondbacks, and then obviously the last time in the postseason they lost, I think, in the first round again. So I think it's their time to finally get over a wild card. I think this is the one season series. They've been incredible against this team all season long. They've obviously always had their hand. So I'm going to take the Brewers in a 2-0 fashion here. I really do think they're going to win this one. I'm really confident in this team moving forward. Obviously, we saw what the Mets were able to do today with all the hitting forces they had. They had that great inning. I think it was the 7th inning in that game 1 to swing it open. But I think if the Brewers can get on that Mets pitching early, I think they got a real shot to win. So I'm taking the Brewers 2-0 in this series. So moving on to the last series of the wildcard is the Padres versus the Braves. Obviously, have a very good matchup, I think. This is going to be a fun first matchup. all the times for this. They have the the latest time, the night slot, it looks like. So they got the 8:38 game for the game 1 and 2, and then they have the 7 o'clock game. They will be the third time slot for that one. Looking at the season series on these two teams real quick, 4-3 to the Padres. They played briefly in May. Padres were able to take that 3-1 in those games, and then they played later in July, I think right after the All-Star game, and obviously the Braves were able to kind of get them back. And then right now, if we look at the starters, Michael King is going to be going for the San Diego Padres in that game 1. Atlanta hasn't announced anyone. They already said Chris Sale is not going to pitch in game 1. So they kind of have to do like kind of a bullpen day, which is going to be interesting. They don't really have a set starter for this game yet. They're not really sure what they're going to really do. Obviously, Chris Sale was supposed to pitch today, and then he was supposed to pitch yesterday, but he had like these cramps or something. I don't know. He's just unable to pitch, I guess. It was some kind of weird injury that I've really never seen before, honestly. So that is the game 1 matchup. Michael King has been really solid all season for the Padres. That trade for Juan Soto was actually really good for this team, getting those 5 players back. All of them are really putting in the work in the organization. Michael King is probably their best player they got back. I mean, absolutely phenomenal pitcher. Michael King's in a shine in game 1. I really do have the Padres winning this 2-0. I think the Braves are a really good team. I think these both teams are really good. But man, just the Braves situation right now with the whole pitching situation they have, this is like a situation that they just gotta hit. I mean, you gotta hit to win these games, both for the Mets and Braves with this whole doubleheader situation they had to deal with. Both teams just have to hit to win. And honestly, I don't think they're gonna do that with the Padres pitching staff. I mean, you gotta remember, we got Michael King going, then you got Hugh Darvish probably, then you got a Musgrove maybe, like some kind of order like that. I mean, it's gonna be really hard for the Braves to hit, in my opinion. So I have the Padres winning this 2-0. I think it's gonna be a quick series. I think the Padres are going to handle business against this team really easily, and I think they're going to move on to the next round. But what do you guys think about all these predictions? Let me know in the comment section down below. Who do you guys have in this one? Because I'd love to hear your thoughts. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everyone.